All right, we got episode 38 today.
Yeah, we do.
It is a lively one, as you can see.
Yeah, the remnants. Again, the remnants.
We bring the heat in many ways. I.e., we nearly caught on fire with our espresso machine.
Yeah, if it's in the shot, you can see the melted plastic on it.
There's a bit of a, I don't know. A lot happened in this episode. We have a special guest. We interview Christopher Mulder.
Yes, we do.
Longtime friend, mortgage broker extraordinaire.
Yep.
And he gets, we have a really good conversation about the power of pessimism.
That's right.
And how it could really influence how you view the market and kind of how you make your investments.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to hear some predictions as well, stick around.
Stick around for the end because we got some hot predictions. Enjoy the show.
Enjoy. Welcome to the Toronto Livings Podcast, a conversation about all things Toronto with a focus on real estate, the culture, and of course, the food.
I'm Mark Savell.
And I'm Joey Virgilio.
And we're realtors with Sage Real Estate working together as a Toronto Livings team with a focus on helping you buy better, sell higher, and of course, having a little bit of fun along the way. Hello, Joey.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Savell. Hello, Joey.
Episode 38.
Yeah, we're on episode 38.
And we got a guest with us today.
Yes, we do.
The beautiful, stunning,
Wow.
intelligent, hardworking Christopher Daniel Mulder. He's a listener. He's a listener. You know,
I was waiting for that.
That's coming.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Is your middle name Daniel?
Yeah.
Okay, we got. My middle name is also Daniel.
Let's get the powers.
Let's
high five it.
Man.
This is already. Yeah.
It's going to be a bromancing episode. So you got JD and CD.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Well, that was not planned for, but let's start with how we often do. How was your week? Where did you eat?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Where did I eat this week? I didn't eat, in all honesty, I didn't eat here this week.
Okay.
But it's where we're going tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is a Sunday ritual. And we go to a bakery that's in what's the Daniel's?
Zuzu you go to?
No, not next to Zuzu. What's
Regent Park.
Regent Park, thank you. In Regent Park, called Le Beau.
Okay.
And they have the most incredible works of art. These croissants are beautiful. The lineup is down the block. I don't know if you've ever seen it any morning.
No.
But it is well worth it. So okay. Le Beau will be the destination.
Le Beau.
Le Beau.
We should go.
Yeah.
To Le Beau. It writes itself. And croissant is your go-to?
They have a almond marzipan croissant. I'm just a sucker for marzipan.
Okay.
Love marzipan.
Marzipan.
Have you had marzipan?
I have not, no.
He goes to Mars Diner.
Mars Diner. Mars, yeah, they do have pans, but not unfortunately.
They don't combine the two.
Oh, marzipan is life-changing. It's basically ground down almond with sugar. It's delicious.
Oh.
Yeah, you got it. You got to get it.
Like as a powder?
Yeah, it's a paste.
It's a paste.
It's a paste inside. Delicious.
All right.
Now, you might not know this about Joseph J. Joey over here, but he's in the bread business.
Oh, yeah. We have that in common as well.
Are you a
middle name Daniel?
Middle name Daniel, bread bakers.
Passion bread.
Yeah, definitely. I've got the starter going since 2020, keeping it alive.
Okay.
And basically bi-weekly, there's some fresh bread being baked.
Not bad. So I just started 2 days ago. Or
Well, come on.
Relatively new. Give the guy a chance.
But I have been, I've been doing it just with the active yeast, like fast active yeast. I don't have a starter yet. Oh. And I'm only learning about starters now.
Well, I should have brought you some starter. Next time, if I ever make it back again, I will definitely bring you starter.
All right, we got some stuff to talk about.
Right,
definitely. You guys keep talking about bread. I forgot to turn the power on again. So you can just keep talking about your bread here. I'll be right back.
Okay, we're going to talk about our business, Daniels & Co., which is coming up.
We call it Daniel at Daniel?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, what did I miss?
We're opening a bakery called Daniel at Daniel.
All right. Well, for those who don't know, Chris actually is a man of many things. Bread making is one of the many things. But where you make your bread is actually in the mortgage business.
That is correct. I do make the bread and butter in the mortgage business. That's right.
How long have you been doing it for?
2006.
Okay. My math tells me that's long time.
Years, 18 years, coming up to 2 decades.
Wow.
You know, and it's it still feels new. You know.
Yeah.
It's always a challenge, always learning something new, and so 18 years.
Always changing, and like you've been through so many changes in those 18 years of how financing looks like. And
Constant reinvention and constant rule changes.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's been a wild ride, and I've known you for a good portion of that.
Yeah. We go back. So I got into the business in 2007, 8-ish, and we probably met around 2009.
Yeah.
You want to tell Joey where we met?
Actually, yeah. Let me hear the story.
We actually met on Twitter, on the barren wasteland that is Twitter.
Yeah, formerly known as Twitter.
Formerly known as Twitter, on X. Yeah,
we met on X. Yeah.
Not triple X, but on X. Yeah,
that's for the other podcast, onlyrealtors.com.
So how did that happen? Did you literally just started following each other? Or?
I don't know who tweeted first and someone responded to it. So I think at the time your brother was possibly running it. So, okay, tell the people, who do you work for, with all that, get the logistics.
Okay,
out.
So my name is Chris Mulder.
Yeah.
I'll give you a quick rundown, right?
Okay.
My name is Chris Mulder. I live in Leslieville with my beautiful wife, Katrina, and my miniature poodle, Moscow. I've figured out now that it's Moscow's world and I'm just living in it. I heard you talking about dogs and babies and how challenging it is.
Yeah.
Don't get a poodle.
I don't have either, and I am good to hear other people's stories. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Other than baking bread and taking care of Moscow, one of my passions is sailing. So I sail competitively. I'm 3-time Canadian champion in the F-18 class.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So
we really overbooked this guy. We shot for the stars on this one. Jeez.
Most recently, it was here in August of last year.
Nice.
In Burlington. So we won it locally, which was really nice. So that's something that I really enjoy. So when I'm not on the water, then I'm working at the office, and yes, I am a mortgage broker, but I wear a couple of different hats. So first and foremost, I run a brokerage and own the brokerage, which is Tridoc Mortgage. Mm-hmm. We are a franchise of the Mortgage Center. Took over the business from my dad. He founded the business back in 1977.
I'm just going to step in for a second. I know his dad, AKA Arnold. I think Arnold can bench press the real Arnold. Your dad is the most energetic. Like, that's the goal. Like, this guy lives the life, man. Like, just full of energy, always with ideas. He's writing a book, I think.
Yeah. Always, like, my dad's 85 years old, and his mantra is the best is yet to come. He still maintains that, and he loves that every day.
Yeah. So you come from a pedigree of very good energy, I would say.
Oh yeah. I get that from my dad. Yeah. Thanks for saying that, Savell. I appreciate that. So I had him as a mentor. I was lucky enough. One of the other things that my father started back in 1992 is something called a MIC, or a Mortgage Investment Corporation. And so it's a private fund. I won't spend a lot of time talking about it, but a private fund. We lend out money privately on mortgages. So we have a group of investors. I'm the president of the corporation, and we find mortgage investment opportunities. So I run that. Mm-hmm. And then that has led me into the world of private investments, something called the exempt market. Mm-hmm. And I hold something called an exempt market dealing representative's license with a company called Liahona. And that allows me to connect potential investors with investment opportunities that are in the marketplace.
Nice.
So yeah, wear 3 different hats.
Did you get all that?
Busy.
We're going to quiz you at the end of the show.
I'll quiz you after.
Yeah. I'm going to actually change it up a bit. I think I'm going to freestyle a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the stand off.
Here, let me unclip you.
Unclip me, please. There's just a lot going on with this stand.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now I feel more profesh.
That's good. Hi, Mark.
Well, Christopher, thank you for that. And because you are our honored guest and so esteemed and have accomplished so many accolades in your short span of life, I want to present you with the golden cannon of confetti. This is something we do for all of our guests. Now, I'm going to ask for you to point this lovely golden cannon away from your face towards the target over there.
Towards the target over there?
On the count of 3, you're going to twist down and turn it.
Twist down and turn it. Okay, I see it.
Yeah,
I see it.
Yeah. So, Joey, you want to count them down?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1.
You get a card. You get a card.
Oh, we got an. Oh shit. Okay. We got a problem.
It went into.
It's a little bit okay.
Joey, you won't be getting coffee today because I accidentally got confetti on the stove.
Oh my god!
Welcome to the Toronto Living's Real Estate Podcast, where everything that glitters is gold. And this week, Joey will not be drinking coffee. Sorry, bro.
That is also a fire hazard.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
maybe you should unplug it now.
well, I got it off. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. We've done worse things on this show. Well, how did you like that? How did you like that experience?
That's not what I was expecting, but I'm very grateful to be here and can't wait to see where we go from here.
Spoiler alert, that's as good as it gets.
Oh, okay.
The rest is just
all downhill from here.
Yeah. So let's, sorry, Joey, did you eat anywhere that you want to share?
Oh, you know what? I'll share Burrito Bros.
Okay.
Keeping the class as high as I can. Burrito Bros.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you order from
I've
there?
had there for the first time. It's basically Burrito Boys, but slightly different. There's 3 locations, and the one I had was $3.95 Eglinton. I got a burrito and quesadillas.
Ooh.
Like I said, I can't stop. Like Mexican food can be my my meal every day for the rest of my life.
Is that the one food, like between Italian and Mexican, you could do Mexican?
100%. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Perfect mixture for me is veal cutlet mixed with quesadillas.
A veal cutlet quesadilla. You might be onto something there, eh? Should look into copywriting a veal cutlet
burrito
quesadilla.
pizza.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't really eat anywhere exciting. I'm going to the Bills game tomorrow, though. Buffalo Bills game.
Oh, the cold.
So, yeah, I'm
the
gonna
cold
be
calls
freezing
you.
my, what's off. But it is in Buffalo, and they have chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
So I'll have a report next week on the greatest chicken wings I've had.
Are you a hot dog kind of guy?
No.
Not
Do you suggest I'm open for?
No, I don't think I would. No, I would stick to the chicken wings. Yeah.
You went to Iceland, yeah?
I beg your pardon?
Did you go to Iceland?
I did go to Iceland. Yeah.
Did you try the hot dogs there?
I did not. After all that, I didn't have a hot dog.
That is widely what they're really good known for.
Yeah, like Scandinavian countries are known for hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
This is a thing?
It's a thing.
This is a thing? I'm learning something new every day?
Yeah.
Obama went there. Anthony Bourdain went there.
Specifically for the hot dog?
For the hot dog.
That is insane. Okay.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah.
Of course. Of course you did.
Come on. That's kind of only reason why I went there.
I wonder if the buffalo hot dog has any, if it'll stand up to an Icelandic hot dog.
I'm down to experiment.
Can you let me know next week?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing no carbs, so I just got to have the raw dog. I got a raw dog.
You know what? Wait till you get the bread, because I think you need the bread.
You need the bread?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll save
give
it
me
for
a fair comparison.
I like that. All right, let's get into news you can use. And since Chris kind of knows the sound, he can do the honorary sound at the end of the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Ready? News you can use.
Oh my God. The listeners are going to be like, we're going to have to get a soundboard and save that. That was really
The
good.
evolution of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing we talked about last week, and we're going to talk about every week until February 29th, is this vacant home buyer tax. Are you aware of it?
You actually let me know.
Okay, good.
You did your public service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I did do it.
You filled it out. Thank
Yep.
you. I've had some people being like, but do I have to? After I've told them like 5 times, I'm like, you have to. You have to. So please, if you're listening, go to the City of Toronto's website, look up vacant home buyer tax in Toronto on Google. You'll get the page. Please fill it out. Because if you fail to, you will get hit with a $21.94 service charge that accrues interest at 1.25% every day. And that's just the start of it. That's just the start of it.
Wow.
Now, if you've deemed to have a vacant home and you don't declare it, do you know how much the fines are on that?
I have no idea. Enlighten me.
3% of your assessed value.
Yeah, that's a jump up.
So let's just do some math here.
Yeah.
On a $1 million assessed value, that's $30,000 you'll be paying.
That's aggressive.
And everyone's complaining about this potential, 10% hike, which will equate to $400 or $500. Imagine if you had to pay $30K on top of that. So there's no reason not to do it. It's free. It takes less than 3 minutes to do. Please, everybody, do this, because the city is looking for money, and this is one way they are going to get it from you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very good. And last year we had to start, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Last year was the first year we had to file.
Right, that's correct.
And I did I did it late, but I did do it.
Okay.
And I didn't realize though the significance, or that we would have to do it every year.
Yeah.
This administration. So yeah, thank you for that.
And everyone who's like, oh, this is another Chow thing. It's a not. It's a Tory thing.
Yeah.
And it's going to be with us. All council voted in favor of it. It is a revenue tool that I think this year they're going to be trying to utilize to get some more money.
Make some more money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're going to do a short segment called News You Can Use. We're not going to go too deep on it because we have the lovely Christopher Mulder here this week. So we want to get into him a little bit. But this is kind of tied to you. Inflation went up this week.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. And are you familiar with the Santa pump?
I heard you talk about this, and I'm glad you brought it up. It's actually called the Santa Rally.
No.
Yeah, it's actually known as the Santa Rally.
Not in this circle.
But I do like Santa Pump. It took me a second to figure out what you were talking about, but yes, the Santa Rally.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Santa pump.
Yeah, Santa Pump.
That's the only thing I really acknowledge. So the Santa pump happened this year, and what we talked about in one of our market updates is that we were worried that if the month of December went too well, in the sense of people buying gifts for their loved ones and all those fun things, it could do the opposite of what we were hoping for and kind of bring inflation up more than expected. And it did that, but it didn't do it solely because people bought gifts for people.
I was going to say, yeah. It was gas mainly more than anything, right?
So all those burritos you're eating
didn't contribute to the problem.
the Joey pump over here. Come on. So the Santa pump came at the gas pump this year.
Yeah.
And so costs of heating your homes, filling up the tanks, all those things, that's what kind of took into the slight bump of inflation. And actually, if you took out the gas component of it, we're actually on the way down further. So inflation was still coming down. It was that one indicator, one element that did bring it up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jan 24th, you're probably going to have a busy day because...
Yes, I am.
Well, what's happening Jan 24th?
Bank of Canada meeting.
Yeah.
First one of the year.
Yeah. And I want to plug you for a second because I love your emails. What Chris does is, how many times do they meet a year? 6 times?
8 times.
8 times.
Yeah.
And Chris sends out 8 very timely. You're the first.
Yeah.
He's the first one to hit my inbox with.
Same here. Yeah.
Can you share behind the curtain? Do you prep 2 responses? Or do you just...
We have a pretty good idea leading up to it.
Okay.
What it's going to be, but the recording, I always do a video with it.
Yeah.
And so the recording is live at basically 10:05 because the release comes out at 10.
Okay.
So 10:05, I've actually got the computer open. I've got the camera on.
Love
it's
it.
all ready to go.
Yeah.
Hit record, give my off the cuff remarks.
Yeah.
And get it out. And that's kind of, it's interesting because over the years and decades now, I've always done that.
Yeah.
It's almost a decade.
Wow.
And when I don't send it, my clients ask me, "Hey,
What's
are you
going
okay?"
on? Yeah. Well, it's a weird time because like there was a good span of 4 or 5 years where the rates really didn't change.
Yeah.
Like pre-COVID, there was a long haul of it. Just it is what it is. It was a boring topic to talk about, but now it's like
it's watched like a hawk. Right now. Yeah. Everyone's paying attention,
and we're all, it's interesting as an industry. Seen that evolution of, realtors never talked about inflation, didn't care what the Bank of Canada was doing. We didn't care about employment numbers. And yet now all these things really matter in the context of real estate. And the macroeconomics is very interesting. How it's impacting Toronto real estate. Our homes, our livelihoods.
Yeah, and that was something that I would say, like pre-Joey joining, I wasn't really concerned. I would kind of talk to Chris about it. But now there's a lot of expectation that we do know more about the world of finance and the triggers that move up and down the economy. So we're going to link to your show to your website in the show notes because it's really worth a sign up. They're quick 2-3 paragraphs that you send us, and you get a beautiful video by Christopher.
Yeah, 100%. I've actually sent your website to a good amount of people at this point. And I always tell them, because this is the fastest way to just know that you're on it. You don't have to be watching the news every time to know. You could just get it in your inbox, and it's like a really good update. Nice and short. It's not too intrusive. It's just right.
Yeah. We're going. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and you instill it down in a very simple way. I don't need to use my big brain to understand it, which is good. I get to give my big brain a rest. So thank you for that, sir.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Very welcome.
Anything you want to add? News you can use?
No. Yeah.
I don't know if you know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Joey pointed out last week that daylight savings
Daylight savings. Listen, it might be over.
I'm sure I was going to get something in my inbox from some realtor somewhere in the world.
Well, no. Sorry, let me correct that. You're right. So there's this habit in Toronto. I don't know why it is, but realtors
You're
love,
the best at that.
they love telling people that daylight savings time is here. I'm like, really? That's your value proposition? But what Joey's point was that the days are getting a little bit longer.
Oh, yes.
And I wanted to just note on that at 5:30 this week, the sun was still out.
That's it.
So thank you.
We are now past 5 p.m.
Yeah.
For the next 9 months.
Love it.
Mark it in your calendars.
Yeah. All right, let's get to transition time.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the...
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know, can you maybe produce a little beat for us?
Ooh.
Oh, like a beatbox, like on the spot? You want to like
you could do a samba, you could do a beatbox. So we basically, Joey does the soundtrack and then I do the voiceover for it. So
boom, tack, boom, tack, tack, boom, tack, boom, tack, tack.
transition time. Transition time with Christopher and Joey. That bread.
I can't.
I was really feeling that.
Okay.
It's the mic, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Wait till I grab the mic in my hand. Yeah, it's game over. I was not expecting to do any of these things. That's great. Okay, good.
That's
Thanks
why
for the heads up on.
No.
Like,
it's all got to be spontaneous and in the moment. That's where the magic happens, right? We're creative beings. We have to feel that. All right. So we want to talk a little bit about you. You've got some interesting topics to bring up, but when we were kind of talking off air, one of the central themes was a lot of this is spun around Twitter and social media and the public discourse. Actually, it's about public discourse, and that's happening on Twitter. And that's something we talk about a lot. Yeah. And the irony of it all is I met Christopher through Twitter.
Yeah. So in the good Twitter days.
In the good days.
Yeah.
The good days of Twitter.
We were all figuring it out with 140 characters.
Yeah, 140 characters. And then the funniest joke you can crack at the time was like, what's the past tense of a tweet?
Tweet?
A twat. Yeah. And like everyone, and that was like the funniest joke in 2009 that you could make. Today you'd get canceled, get your account deleted. Probably should censor that part out. No, it's all in good fun. But yeah, we met on Twitter. I was probably tweeting something stupid and wild because at the time I didn't really know how to use it. And I believe your brother was running the Trideck account.
That's right.
What it would have been. And it was interesting because I thought I was using Twitter just as a fun-based thing to, talk wild about. And this gentleman or this organization, it was Trideck at the time, probably.
It was at that time.
Trideck, yeah. They were interacting with me and I was like, maybe this thing can be used more than just telling people where I'm eating tonight or where I'm going to a party tonight. And somehow, some way we took the conversation offline.
Yeah.
And I think I came to your office on the Danforth.
You did.
Yeah.
And it kind of evolved into a conversation about how to use blogs. Because at that time, it was like a blog was the most earth-shattering thing. Like, just think about where we got to in the last, I think it's 12 years, probably 10, 12 years from blogging. And we didn't really understand what the purpose of the blog was. And we were starting to discover SEO to now what we can do with AI. I mean, in the span of a decade, it's really remarkable.
Yeah.
And Mark came in and he had a blog. What was your blog at that time?
SavelBlogs.com.
SavelBlogs.com.
Yeah.
And so he had it all nice. I said, "Oh, where'd you get this done? It looked really good." He's like, "No, I did it myself." Yeah. And so the wheels started turning. So I actually hired Mark at the time.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
Yeah, to actually create my first blog.
Yeah.
And we said, "What's it going to be called?"
So keep in mind, Chris's dad is in the business.
Yep.
So he's a broker, and Chris is the son.
Yep.
Of a
broker. Oh, that's good.
So SOB, son of a broker.
So we ran with SOB. And what was it? It was Chris Mulder, son of a broker, the hardest working SOB is what you came up with.
Yeah, that's good. That is good.
And those are the days when you could have fun with a blog where it wasn't like at the time, Savell Blogs was actually just a cheap copy of Kanye West's blog because I saw what he was doing. I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. I want one. Not knowing SEO or what it would evolve to or essentially help build the business. And then Chris and I really did a lot of brainstorming. You helped me quite a bit to learn. We went to a couple seminars.
Yeah, we did.
All those learning features. So.
Yeah, and that first blog was we ran with it. Remember, because you could do all these like HTML things that were totally cool.
Yeah.
Now everything's stripped down, but back then it was like maximalist. So we had a lined school paper, the blue lines.
That's right.
Crumpled up. And then it said in like very rough writing on top, "Son of a broker."
That's right.
And it was like on a crumpled piece of lined paper is how we did the
How
blog.
we designed it.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool.
Oh, love it. Yeah, that's awesome. So your initial bond was specifically on blogs.
Well, I'll tell you what I remember. I don't remember much from those days. There's a lot of partying in between. But around that time, I was going to a lot of TFC games.
Yeah.
And most of the conversation wasn't, Chris didn't take a business approach like, let me be your mortgage broker. You would ask me a lot about what I thought of the games and reflections on that. And at the time I was getting tickets to these TFC games by another broker, another mortgage broker, which was funny. And then somehow the transition happened where I was like, well, I like what you talk about. We get along, let's do business together. And it just kind of naturally formed from there. And I think we stayed in the business mindset for a very short period of time, and it spanned to a friendship.
Yeah.
Like really quickly. And Chris is someone who's been a really good confidant and someone to bounce a lot of ideas off.
Yeah.
We're at each other's weddings, and
Absolutely.
we were at other people's weddings and had some good times at those things.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Can I share a Chris Mulder story from a wedding we attended? It's PG.
Absolutely. All my stories are PG, Savel. Come on.
I won't tell them about your nickname then. We were at this wedding. It was an outdoor wedding. It was for our friend Alyssa from Rate Hub fame.
Yeah.
And
Hi, Alyssa.
Yeah, hi, Alyssa. I don't think she listens to podcasts. she's had a lot of success.
We'll send it to her.
We'll send it to her. We were at her wedding, and Chris pulled me outside, and it was a beautiful outdoor wedding, tented, and we're on the water, if I recall.
Yeah, we were on Lake Ontario. Yeah. Bath, Ontario.
Yeah. And that was, where was it?
Bath. It was called Bath. It was called Bath, Ontario.
Okay,
yeah.
we're taking
Kingston, close to Kingston.
Kingston, that's what I was trying to think of. And Chris pulled me outside, and he's like, come look at the moon. And we were a few drinks deep at this point, and I'm like, all right, I'll look at the moon with you. And you gave me this beautiful talk. I was single at the time, about, try to find someone and the importance of companionship. And I was like, what a good guy. Even in the heart of it, he's got my back. And we stared at the moon, two lost souls talking about our future.
And we took a picture of the moon.
We did.
And I still have it on my phone.
So do I. So it just goes to show you that as bad as Twitter is, some good things come out of it. And you are one good thing that really very much came out of it.
I feel the same way about you.
Thank you, brother.
On most days, yeah.
But I'm not, we need these approvals. Let's go, Chris. Come on. Appreciate that. So this wide-reaching story ties very deeply to Twitter, because Twitter's become an interesting place in recent years.
Yeah.
And it's become, I guess you can say, a pessimistic place.
A little bit.
A little bit. Would you?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
A lot of social media. It's not like you and I talk a lot about Twitter because of some of the things that we see and some of the characters that we see on there. But it's pretty prevalent. I notice it a lot on YouTube as well. Anywhere where I'm consuming content, there's a lot of pessimism. I see that. I see that for sure.
It tends. Sorry.
No. I was going to say, I usually leave Twitter much more angry than I started. So I can say it does. And it all blends into, I mean, we've talked about this a bunch, but it all blends into what's actually going to be retweeted, and what that big, it's always got to be the most extreme, right? Yeah. Everybody's got to give the most extreme answer to any question that's out there. And it's definitely not always the case. Yeah. And I do really like I do really like the approach that you take, I guess, when it comes to what we're going to talk about today, because it kind of goes against the grain, and it's very refreshing.
Yeah. So we're going to talk kind of about the seduction of pessimism.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with that title, but maybe tell the people where we kind of got that idea from.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a book that I highly recommend called Psychology of Money. Joey, have you read it?
I have not. No.
Savel, I know you've read it. Yeah. And so it's a book that I read in the last 12 months, and it really stuck with me. Lots of great, very practical, very pragmatic approaches on how we think about money. And one of the chapters that stuck with me is this chapter around pessimism, right? I kind of relate it to some of the things that we see in real estate, and this exact moment that we're in with real estate, right? Because there's a lot of uncertainty, right? We've seen, and we're not comfortable with it. I think as a market in the last 20 years, Toronto real estate has performed so well. You could just cover your eyes and throw a dart at a board, and something would stick. Yeah, you made money.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden that isn't the case, and so we're seeing a lot of bears, what we can call real estate bears. Yep. out there. And so my gripe with Twitter, for example, is this cherry picking that happens of creating a narrative around, hey, look at this poor soul who bought at this price. Now that property is being flipped and sold at this price, the market is crashing. The bubble is bursting. And I'm sure you guys have your own experiences with that, and maybe know some people in your own circle that are real estate bears and really negative on it, right?
Yeah, I think the common catchphrase, if it bleeds, it leads. Right. So the more negative the comment, the more reach it has. And one thing we've kind of just seen in our own research is that a lot of these platforms amplify the negativity much more than the positivity. Yeah. Just to break for a second, optimism and pessimism. Do you guys have troubles remembering what each of those words mean? No? Am I the only one? Sorry.
I feel like I should apologize for, no, not at all.
Joey, no.
But I'll tell you which one I do, like subjective and objective. That one, I always have to flip that one around. Yeah.
For me, I'm always, for whatever reason, those two words are so closely related, it's hard for me to separate the two. So pessimism starts with a P, so I think positive, but it doesn't stand for positive. Yeah. Pessimism is...
you got that connection.
Yeah, so what I had to re-change in my mind is pessimism is pain in the ass. And optimism is the other one.
That works. Yeah, and the thing why I bring up this book, and it's a great book. The author is Morgan Housel.
Shout out Morgan.
Yeah, shout out to Morgan.
Listener of the show.
Yeah. But he calls it The Seduction of Pessimism. Yeah. Optimism sounds like a sales pitch. Pessimism sounds like someone's trying to help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? That's very, very, that resonates a lot.
Yeah.
And especially when you're coming from the sales side of things, is a lot of those conversations, when you start being optimistic about things, it feels, even you saying it feels like, oh, I'm pushing it. Yeah. It's too good to be true, or you just seem kind of dumb, or it doesn't come across in this way that's trying to help people.
A little bit like happy-go-lucky, right? And
naive, I guess.
Naive. And so like pessimism holds a real special place in our heart, and like it sounds smarter, right? When somebody's like a bear, it's like, oh no, pay attention. This sounds smart. It's intellectually stimulating.
Like, I've cracked the code. Everyone's doing this. Sheeps are all following this path, but no, trust me, this is the real path that you should be on. Listen to my point of view, because everyone else is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And the interesting thing about it, and this is all, these aren't my ideas. This is just reflecting on the,
you could say they're yours.
Yeah.
we'll give them to you.
This is reflecting on the arguments that Morgan makes in the book. Is that, a lot of it, we should be hardwired for optimism, right? Life in general has improved. Maybe, we could get down to the nitty gritty. I know there's a lot of unhappy people right now with the state of the world.
Sure.
But in general, life has gotten better for all of us. Think about the quantum leap in quality of life from grandparents to parents to us, right? Sitting here with confetti and laptops and
watches that can tell us our oxygen saturation level,
all of that. So you think we'd be hardwired more to be attracted to optimists or have an optimistic slant, but that doesn't necessarily hold true. And he uses an example. I thought it was a great example in the book of just how perverse we can get with our pessimism. So at the end of 2008, which was the great financial crisis, the markets had fallen and everything looked very bleak at that time. The Wall Street Journal, probably the biggest business publication in the world, felt that it was prudent and smart, maybe whoever made that decision, to run an article about from a Russian professor that basically hypothesized that the state of the world was so bleak that the US was about to fragment into 6 different entities that it wouldn't be able to survive the financial crisis. And so, this is it sounds so hokey, right?
Bizarre,
yeah. Like tinfoil hat, kind of crazy stuff. And yet this is the Wall Street Journal with journalists that, have studied and are trying to give a balanced opinion, decided to run with this story at the end of 2008, kind of capping off the year. and that made the front page. And then he juxtaposes that with an example of Japan in the 1940s. So just imagine you are writing an article to the Japanese nation during the Second World War saying, guys, it's fine. Don't worry. Because at that time, I mean, there wasn't enough food. They had just dropped the 2 nuclear bombs. Just imagine the outlook of the Japanese population at that time. And just imagine writing an article saying, it's going to be fine. Just imagine we're going to be one of the largest producers globally. Our financial markets are going to rebound and have one of the greatest runs historically. We are going to lead the world in terms of manufacturing. The world is going to look to us for management techniques and look to our culture. Oh yeah, and by the way, the US that just dropped 2 nuclear bombs on us, they're going to be one of our greatest allies. Like that level of optimism couldn't be computed. It would have sounded absolutely ridiculous. It would have sounded, so over the top.
Yeah. So extremely happy-go-lucky and like, oh, you just, you're looking through the world with your ruby-colored glasses on and all that fun stuff. But here we are 40, 60 years later, and that is what the relationship is between the 2 countries.
Yeah.
Which goes to show you that when you hear these people barking so loudly on these social media sites that like, is it ever as bad as it sounds?
Yeah. And it's, I think I want to be clear here because, anybody who's watching and we may get some blowback on it saying, no, you guys have it all wrong, especially as we talk about Toronto real estate.
Yeah.
There are perceptions, that we're all trying to understand the world around us and we're all using data, the best available data to come up with a narrative, to come up with a story. But the way I like to kind of understand that in the point of view of somebody who might be sharing this negative information is it's that parable of the 6 blind guys who are trying to
you heard this one?
No, they're trying to describe to each other what an elephant is. It's a classic one. And so one guy is at the front of the elephant, grabs the tusk and goes, guys, I got it. No, it's a spear. An elephant is a spear, right? It's pointy, it's a spear. The next guy is grabbing the trunk and says, nah, it's not a spear. No, it's more like a snake actually, right? Holding the trunk. The next one is touching around the leg and says, no, a snake. What are you talking about? It's more like a tree, right? Putting his arms around the tree. And the next guy is pushing against the belly of the elephant and goes, no, it's a wall. Just feel how big this is, right? And the last guy is holding the tail and says, no, it's more like a rope. So, you get very quickly the idea that, none of them is wrong, right? But their perception in their own little silo is the truth, is the reality there.
Yeah.
But we don't get the full picture of what it is. And I think bringing this back to Toronto real estate and the current state that we're in, I think that we're perceiving certain pockets and certain narratives that are true. It's not, you can't argue against some of the things that have happened, some of the price corrections and these sort of things. But then we have a tendency to then extrapolate that and say, no, the bubble is going to burst. Or, here's the day of reckoning. Right.
Yeah. You're taking one component of the elephant, one description of the elephant, and applying it to the whole subject matter.
Yeah.
So sure, there's people who've lost money. There's people who bought at the peak of the market that had to sell within the last year that took a loss.
Yeah.
That does not mean everyone across the board is taking a loss. And conversely, when the market is good, it doesn't mean that everyone is making money either, right?
Yeah.
These are just small segments. But to your point, I think we lack the ability to compute the big picture.
Yeah.
So we extrapolate just a little idea and then apply it to the whole thing.
Yeah. And like there's some great examples recently during COVID. Do you guys remember the deferral cliff?
Vaguely.
Yeah. You do? Yeah. Like it was this huge story. Everybody was talking about the deferral cliff. So just as a reminder, COVID hit, everybody stopped working. And the lenders, to do their part to support society, said, we're going to allow you to defer your mortgage payments for 6 months. Then the question was, what happens when the 6 months expire? Right. And so all the smart people in the room said, it's going to happen, guys. Here we go. The deferral cliff. And, once all these payments become due, who's going to be able to pay? It's going to be a disaster. Did we get that right?
No.
Oh, it was terrible, right? And like, if you took that advice at the time, I'm sure it was all over Twitter, and we were talking about it constantly. And somebody freaked out and said, "Now's the time to sell, honey."
And everything's been fine.
You would have missed out on one of the greatest runs of real estate. Had you sold, let's call it August 2020. If you sold, you would have missed out on a 20% gain on
large
real
money
estate.
would have been left on the table.
Yeah. And so it's not to, berate or be in contradiction to the bears that are out there.
Yeah.
But I think it's just for anybody who's watching these things and consuming, and I notice it comes up so much. My YouTube feed is all like, it's happening. Crash, bubble burst, all these things. And yet, and so the latest is, okay, well, only about 6 out of 10 Canadians with a mortgage has experienced the pleasure of higher interest rates, and so as they do, we're going to see blood on the streets, and yet to date, sure, there's been a correction, but would you say that the Toronto real estate market the bubble is burst?
No. In fact, one thing that shocked us at the end of the year was that prices didn't change that much at all year over year. That they didn't go down nowhere near the numbers that some people on Twitter will cherry pick the individual sales for. It went nowhere near that. It was up $2,500, which is nothing to write home about, but it didn't drop $500,000 like some people are suggesting, or these crazy losses that people are projecting.
Well, that's what's been throwing me, right? Because if you're cycling through social media and you're seeing those little stories that are cherry picked, which are, look how much this guy lost on this sale. But then when you actually look at the grand scope of things, you saw the big, whatever, let's call it 20% drop that happened when the big drop happened. And then it's been really steady since. So, and kind of goes back to the story about, the elephant, which is you keep kind of focusing on, I don't know, you're cherry picking the wrong information, right? You're not seeing the entire story. And a lot of people have been, if you're not well attuned and you're only reading headlines and you're only seeing the social media posts, then you're going to think that everything is already on fire. And it's not necessarily the case.
And it just attracts because it gets the clicks. It's intellectually stimulating, as we've said.
And it gets more engagement on these social platforms. So we enjoy talk about this all the time. It's like, we can totally game our titles. We could be like, Doomsday mortgage broker Chris Mulder here to drop.
You should try that. You should try that and see what happens.
I guarantee you it will perform better in terms of an analytics standpoint. But in terms of delivering the actual story, there's nothing there to deliver. And it's a lot of that. It's unfortunate that these algorithms are set up to only lead with these salacious headlines. Because it, like we were talking about in previous episodes, it really throws people for a loop of how to navigate the market. Because you hear these things, you're like, well, Jesus, I shouldn't buy. Meanwhile, for a condo, this might be the best opportunity you've had in 5 years to get into the condo market. But if you're only reading the headlines, you're thinking, I'm going to rent forever. That's just the way to do it.
And it flips so often because, now you brought up inflation. We talked about that a little bit. And because it's come in hotter than expected, it's pushed out expectations of rate cuts, which then changes the narrative around when is the bottom of the market, if people are trying to time their real estate purchase. And so, there's been a lot of negativity again that comes back saying, and watch, next week the Bank of Canada is going to meet. It's going to be what we call in the business a hawkish hold, where they're going to use language saying, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Look out. Look out. And the media is going to pick up on that. And the headline is going to be, Bank of Canada says, look out for more rate hikes are possible.
Possible.
Because that's going to get a click rather than we're likely going to hold. There's a 75% chance of a hold, 25%. The headline is possibility of a rate increase. Right?
Can we get your official guesstimate on what's going to happen with rates this year?
I think yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, we can. Yeah, to answer your question. So I was of the mind that we would see rates start cutting. When we talk about rates, we should be very specific also in what we're talking about. We're talking about the Bank of Canada. Right. Because fixed rate mortgages have moved. There are different mechanisms that impact fixed rate mortgages, and they've dropped since November by about 1%.
Yeah, we're sub 5, I think.
For high ratio for certain mortgages. Certainly sub 6 now. Because in November we were over 6 for a lot of the products. So if we're talking about the Bank of Canada, At the moment, the most reasonable expectation is summertime. Okay, June, July for the first rate cut. Okay. The quantity and magnitude. So as the year wrapped up, the market was really giddy and excited about rate cuts. Like they thought, oh, here we go. all the realtors had a lot to say about this. It's like March, first rate cut, rates are coming down, buy.
Somebody had to help Santa pump.
So somebody had to help Santa pump. So that expectation got pushed out. This week was very significant because not only, we talk about Canada, but it's not only here in Canada, but the US, the UK, and the Eurozone all had much higher than expected inflation. And so that's pushed out the curve, so to speak, and the expectations for when rate cuts might happen. So I don't think that we will see the magnitude of cuts that were originally expected, which was about 1.5% this year. I think maybe now reasonably in calendar 2024 is about a 1% cut starting in June. That's best guess right now. But we have another slight issue, and that is a divergence in terms of the North American economy.
It sounds like you're leading with pessimism, Chris.
I'm just speaking facts right now. Speaking facts right now.
Let's hear it. What you got?
But the narrative has always been rates are going to be so high that it's going to impact the consumer, and we're going to head into a recession. Mm-hmm. We've been saying that since 2022 and into 2023. We expected it to happen in 2023. It didn't happen. Mm-hmm. The US is showing very strong signs. The consumer is strong, employment is strong. So the US, it appears at this time, may actually have a soft landing, which has never been achieved before, or is very rare given these circumstances. Whereas here in Canada, we're starting to see some signs of an economy that's struggling. The job numbers, I don't know if you guys saw in the month of December. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many jobs we created? This number blows your mind.
You want us to guess?
Go.
27,000. Are we talking Canada?
Net new jobs? Like how many jobs were created in the month?
For all of Canada?
Yeah, but it's net. So we may have created 27,000, but we could have lost 27,000.
All right, fine. I will say 3,500.
Oh, I was going to guess higher. Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know. Let's say 10,000.
Yeah. We created 100 net new jobs in the month of December that were all part-time.
Yeah, it was Santa pumping at the malls.
Yeah. And it didn't happen. Yeah, it didn't happen. Santa didn't show up.
Wow.
So that that's a worrying sign.
Yeah.
And that's just one piece of data.
100 jobs.
That's 100 new jobs. And you have to think that the significance is you go, okay, well that's okay. But we also welcomed 1.2 million newcomers to the country. Yeah. So
where are they working?
Yeah.
How are they getting by?
So it's a problem. And of course this week a lot of the headlines in the business world were about how we're getting poor per capita in Canada. And so we're leading off with, again, pessimistic stories of quality of life is getting worse for Canadians. Yeah. And again, that's a cheap low blow headline.
To get clicks.
To get clicks. But there's some truth to that. Yeah. Per capita, we are getting, I heard somebody say, the number of forks has increased.
Okay.
But the amount of pie is getting smaller. Right. So the number of people that need to eat that pie is getting smaller. And so that's a problem.
Yeah.
And so the going back to this is a long-winded question about interest rates, but to go back to your question about interest rates, if the US continues to perform well and Canada starts to perform poorly, then the Bank of Canada will be forced with dropping rates, which will have an impact on exchange rates, the Canadian dollar.
Right.
And so it'll depreciate the Canadian dollar, which has a whole other set of things, because if the Canadian dollar gets weaker, we import a lot. Well, now everything's getting more expensive in Canadian dollar terms. Inflation.
Do we buy Bitcoin? Is this what you're saying?
Don't take me on that tangent. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. The U.S. diversion is not a storyline I've heard much of at all.
No, I haven't either.
I read quite a bit from other brokers out there. So that's an interesting take and definitely one to watch. I think our general consensus is between 0.5% and 1%. I still think March we're going to get some type of a cut, because all it takes is one article to change the whole direction of it. And it just goes to show that you're touching the rope part of the elephant. I'm grabbing the belly, and you know, who's right?
Yeah.
No one knows. Uncertainty is a part of life. That's something we can never get over. But I think we have this false fallacy that we could somewhat predict it.
Yeah.
I think of my personal coach, my business trading coach, Sean Carter, Jay-Z.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You may have heard of him. Yeah.
Maybe.
He's got a lyric in one of his songs that says, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you think of that, literally the translation of that, like if you have a broken watch twice a day, it will tell the correct time.
Right.
For a second, but still right. And so you can preach negativity for a decade. You will be right at some point.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to who's more right or who's right longer, right? Do you want that 1 second of right, or do you want all the other seconds in the day to be right?
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and that's a great way. Yeah, the clock is right twice a day. So all those real estate bears, and if you remember, one of the things that we connected on in our early days was a blog by the name of The Greater Fool. Do you remember that?
Garth Turner.
Yeah, Garth Turner, and he's a real estate bear, and has been for decades. And right now, he gets to throw pie in everybody's face.
He does. But I'll take the 20 years of gains and, and you know, enjoy that over his few crumbs that he could throw. Because and I had a client who, I'll never forget this, when I got in the business in 2007, he had the option of purchasing a bungalow for $300,000.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, it's going to come down. It's going to come down. I was young in the business. So whatever you think, cool, we'll see what happens. And I always think of him because that same bungalow today is $1.2 million. So it would have went 4 times from what he would have paid. He's still renting his apartment, and that's his choice, and that's fine. But you know, I think there's something over the big picture and not just cherry picking the one cyclical part of the cycle. And that goes both ways. I think realtors are the enemy when the market's really good, because they like to promote, oh, I sold 200% over list and all this other BS marketing tactics. And so there's both sides of the coin, and I get them both, but I think it's just a matter of what makes most sense for you. Because in any market, there's money to be made and lost. And you have to look at your own individual life and direction and not focus so much on what the headlines are telling you to do or not to do. In fact, don't look at them at all.
Well, I think just to harp on that, that's the general advice I give to clients too. It's not about timing out the market. Is now the time for your lifestyle,
for you.
Yeah. You know, we're obsessed in North America and Toronto, especially with real estate and the direction that it goes. And it's a great provider of wealth to Canadians.
Sure.
But there are places in the world where real estate is just a roof over a head. And that's the most important function of real estate, is to put a roof over your head. It's like
prices are pretty stagnant, and it provides shelter, and that is the number one reason why we have properties. But I think in North America, it's been more of an investment vehicle to gain more wealth. Whereas I think of my family in Italy, where the same place has been worth the same for years, and multi-generational families have lived in it, because that's its purpose. It's not meant to help someone retire. It's meant to provide shelter for a whole generation of people. That doesn't translate here at all. And I don't think it ever will. And you just have to accept that. But that's another thing. Like, we're holding the part of the elephant that thinks that is the only way it is. Right. Where in other parts of the world, it's purely shelter.
Yeah, you're going to talk a lot about elephants in your future, I think.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm bringing it up.
You're gonna with Adriana. No, you're just holding the wrong part of the elephant, honey.
Let's pivot from there.
Actually, I want to, talking about optimism and pessimism. I've got some. I dug through the crates for some optimistic information about real estate in Toronto. Okay, and so I want to quiz you guys a little bit. Are you guys up for a game? You want to do that?
Oh, we like games.
You like games?
Yeah. Wait, do you have a prize?
Yeah, I'll bring you guys a croissant tomorrow.
All right, I can live with that. I can live with that price. I can live with that. I was expecting like 0.5% off of your next mortgage. But I mean, if it's a croissant, it's a croissant.
Well, I've got 10 questions, okay? And rather than blurt it out, I brought Moscow's little toys. So we're going to give a little squeaky to you, Savell. This little, I washed them beforehand, okay? That one's for you, Joey.
Smells washed.
Yeah. If you win, you can keep it, all right? Feel free to share wrong answers as well.
Okay.
But, this is all about the fundamentals of Toronto real estate and why we should be a little bit optimistic. I'm going to lead off with perhaps the first two aren't the most optimistic, maybe a little bit more sobering.
Okay.
Okay. But question number one, here we go. Okay. The average after tax net household income for 2023. So this is the take home income of the average Toronto
Household?
Oh, wait. Oh, you want to? I'm not done. I'm going to tell you what it is. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's $72,000. Okay. So the average.
Okay.
What percentage of household income is used to service a mortgage on the average GTA home? So the average GTA home is what, 1.1?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So if it's $72,000, right, that's $6,000 per month. So if that's average income, what's the average mortgage payment on? Yeah, go.
Joey?
I'm gonna say over 50. I'm gonna say like, I don't know, 60%.
It's higher than that. Yeah. Do you have a counter? Yes.
68.3%.
It's actually 98%.
Wow.
Because if you do 20% down on 1.1, it's an $880,000 mortgage based on average 5-year fixed today. You're looking at about a $5,900 per month mortgage payment.
So how do you eat?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So, and I guess the reason I wanted to lead off with that is average, that's average income versus average home. The two don't line up.
Yeah, I think one thing I want to add to that is if you are making $70,000 a year, you're not buying an average.
That's correct.
House.
Right. That's correct.
Probably so there is money to eat.
Yes.
People can eat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Am I parking in somebody's spot?
No, I don't know.
Somebody's got an answer they want to chime
I
in.
think we got
Okay. Canada has, this is question number 2. Canada has how many cities ranked in the top 10 unaffordable cities of the world?
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah. Canada has how many cities ranked in the top 10 unaffordable cities in the world? Yeah.
4.
I'll say 2.
You say 2?
Yeah.
It's actually 3, right in the middle. Yeah. So that's Vancouver.
Yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah.
It's actually, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the list here. I'm looking at my answers where I was distracted. It's actually 2.
Oh, it is 2.
You're right. Yeah. 1 point for you. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Joey, 1 point for you.
1
and
point.
for bonus points, can you name of the top 10, can you name any of the other cities?
In the
what company
world?
we keep?
Yeah, London, New York, Hong Kong. That's not a city.
No, Hong Kong is in there.
Okay. Hong Kong, New York, Chicago, Dubai.
No,
not a city.
No, actually, no. So Hong Kong is the most expensive, followed by Sydney. Number
Sydney.
3 is Vancouver. Then we have Honolulu. Okay. San Jose. So we're looking at average income versus cost of housing, right?
Right.
San Jose, Los Angeles, Auckland, New Zealand. Okay. San Francisco, Melbourne, and Toronto on this list.
So we got to go to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
That's the conclusion.
That's my
That's the
optimism.
conclusion of that one. Yeah.
So it's 1-0 for Joey?
It's 1-0 for Joey. Okay. Question number 4. True or false? Over the past 10 years, home ownership in Canada grew by 21.5%.
False.
That is false. Yeah. Do you have any idea what the actual number is? Do you think it's higher or lower than 21%?
Higher.
It's actually lower.
Okay.
So in the last 10 years, the percentage of Canadians that own homes has only increased by 8.4%.
Wow.
Oh.
Do I lose a point?
No, you don't lose a point.
good.
It's not this type of game. Yeah, I'm not putting you negative. This isn't going so well so far for you. So, but the renter population grew by 21.5%.
Ah, interesting.
Okay, number 5.
That makes sense though.
For the first 3 quarters of 2023, Canada's population grew at what daily rate? Right. So, the quarterly, right? We got the number. It was about over 1 million was the population growth for Canada.
Jesus.
So if you extrapolate that daily, I'm gonna give you 4 options. You tell me. Yeah. Okay. A, 500 a day. B, 1,800 a day. C, 2,500 a day. Or D, 3,700 a day. Oh, I heard.
Yeah.
Saval, go.
C.
No, incorrect. It's actually.
Joey, do you want? Wait.
Yeah, you want to go?
2,500 a day.
No, you both said the same thing, so that's both C's. It's actually 3,700. To be exact, it's 3,760 per day. That's
crow.
how fast the Canadian population is growing daily.
That
When
was
you extrapolate, like, and that number, like, because we hear 1 million, go, oh, that's a lot. And that's for the first 3 quarters.
Wow.
We don't have the report from Statistics Canada yet for all of 2023.
Right.
But it's projected to be about 1.2 million.
wow.
Wow, that's great. And well, that makes sense why the
rents
amount of
are-
renters are
yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's shocking when you think about that.
Well, it also makes me add more fuel to the fire of buy a condo, because everyone's gonna need a place to live, and
Yeah.
a lot of these people are coming as solo or a couple, and so the 1-bedroom condo that's now ridiculously affordable is probably a really good thing to be looking at.
It's going to be your way in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 6.
Yep.
So we're still 1-0 Joey.
All right.
By the way.
All right.
Yeah. Oh,
We're not good at this, Joey.
true or false? In 2023, Canada's population has grown more than at any other time since Confederation. Ooh.
That's true.
False.
That's true.
I'm thinking about
I'll give you bonus points if you can tell me Confederation. I'll actually let you win the game if you can tell me when Confederation was.
Confederation for this beautiful country of Canada, when Lester B. Pearson married Justin Trudeau's mom, 1897.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yo, can you redeem?
Yeah, of course. It was 1901.
Is it 1867?
Yeah, it is 1867. Yeah.
We got an audience member here who's trying to give us the answer.
Yeah, but that's true. I mean, Canada's population has grown more in 2023 faster than at any other point in time.
Who was the prime minister of Confederation? Smarty Pants. I don't know the answer.
Maybe McDonald? Sir John A. McDonald? Yeah.
Yeah, we're trusting a third-party source. Okay. I was going to say John D. Beefenbaker.
Okay. No, definitely not. Definitely not. True or false? Canada leads the G7 in population growth as a percentage of its population by 3.5 times more than its closest rival. So it is true. So hold on. Let me rephrase that. Okay. Canada leads the G7 in terms of population growth. Okay. As a percentage of its population.
Okay.
So it's not like in the US, maybe there were 2 million newcomers in 2023, but as a percentage of its population, Canada has the fastest growth rate.
Okay.
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 Are we 3.5 times faster than the closest competitor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so now we got a tie.
Tie game,
Now
tie
we got a
game.
tie game. Yeah. We're actually growing at about 1.4 times our population. And the closest rival would be the UK.
Okay.
And they're growing at about 0.4 times their population.
London.
London, that's it. Yeah. Bonus points for knowing that. I was going to ask you the capital of the UK.
I suck with geography.
All right. According to CMHC's affordability report, okay, they did a report recently. They calculate that Canada will require 22 million homes to meet demand. They have this calculation of like normalization of housing prices, what's affordable to meet Canada's population. So they've come up with a number of 22 million new homes by 2030. Okay. Canada's housing growth, what we project right now, is how many homes do we think we're going to build by 2030? Is it A, 23 million, B, 18.5 million, or C, 12.25 million?
12.25.
No, it's
No,
actually not.
I'll tell you why. Because this question is, what does the government think they're going to build?
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Yeah,
It's gonna be less than
that's
that.
correct.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
going to go with whatever the highest number was.
Actually, well, 23 million, which means that we would overbuild.
Yeah.
But we're not going to overbuild. We're only projected to build 18.5 million new homes by 2030.
I think in reality, though, we're going to get under 12 million.
Yeah.
There's so
So,
much.
so the projected shortfall is 3.5 million homes for Canada's population.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Can I share some optimism, though?
Yeah.
Because I think that number, we're going to have a little bit of an advancements in how houses are built. So we will have better productivity. So there's a chance we could build more efficiently, but more so with the zoning changes where you could turn a single house into 4 units. That's a simple way to add technically more inventory.
Yeah, and we're going to need to look for more innovative ways of addressing that.
And in the city of Toronto now, you can put 4 units on one property.
Yeah.
Plus a garden suite, potentially 5.
Yeah.
So
and that leads to the next question. So in the city of Toronto, in Ontario, we have a projected house. So of the 3.5 million, 1.5 million is in Ontario. Okay. That's the shortfall. Over the last 10 years, do you know how many new homes we've built in Ontario?
In Ontario, 10 years, 450,000.
Do you have a guess?
I'll guess 600,000.
Yeah, it's actually 795. So about 800,000 homes so if the reason I bring this up, the housing gap is 1.5 million. Over the last 10 years, we only managed to build about 800,000.
So we're screwed?
Yeah.
We're leading with pessimism again?
Yeah. And so projecting forward, we're projected to actually build about 580,000 new homes between now and
over a decade.
No, well, between now and 2030.
Oh, all right.
So there's a gap. So those are all the questions. Joey is definitely hands down the winner. But the reason it is bleak from a housing affordability point of view, and there's some social implications for all of this.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about real estate, because this conversation led off with a crashing real estate market and pessimism in the real estate market, all of this points to some serious supply and demand issues that provide the underlying fundamentals to be, I think, quite optimistic about where we go from here, with real estate.
So the only thing, this is where the two sides of the coin. It's going to be optimistic for those who have homes.
Yes.
But it's going to be maybe a bit pessimistic for those that don't have homes.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot more expensive to get into it.
Yeah.
And if rates are somewhat here for the next, let's say 5 years in the 3 to 4% range, appreciation might not come as high as we've seen in the last decade.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
Yeah.
You're a worthy opponent.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. That's your victory squeak. Well, this has been good and really eye-opening, and I think definitely want to have you back. Maybe we'll do a recap at the end of the year to see how close we were with
that'd
all
be
these
interesting.
things, and wrap up to what we thought in the beginning and at the end, and kind of see it. I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Based on the Mark and Joey study of affordability, how much do you think Toronto homes will appreciate by the end of this year? So what do you think the average price of homes is going to be December 2024?
Okay, so let's just make the math simple and say that is 1.1 now.
Baseline's 1.1. Where do you see yourself?
I'm going to go with 1.175. I'm going to say flat.
I'm going to write it down. Relatively flat. Okay.
Relatively flat. I'm going to go with 1.175.
Yeah, modest gains.
Just shy of 1.2.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
All right.
Yeah. I think over 1.2.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a pretty big price, not pretty big, but we will see more price appreciation in 2024 than we did in 2023.
Okay, we'll record it. So you're going 1.2 or more than 1.
Over 1.2. Yeah.
So let's come up with a number, like
All right.
1.210.
1.235. Joseph J. Joey?
No, I'm on the boat of, I also think it's going to remain more flat than raised. So I'm going to say it'll stick around the 1.1 mark, and I'll go shy of you.
So,
I'll go 1.1. I'll go 1.15.
okay.
Yeah. I think that I do.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Well, I think this first half of the year, we're starting to see signs of that active market. We've been at low inventory for the longest time. The market's been slow, and in everybody's head, it's been a buyer's market, and it's been kind of acting that way. But inventory's been so low that now that fixed rates have already started to move down, and we're kind of starting to see this movement in the spring market. I think the spring market's going to have the big boost. Potentially same kind of situation as last
year.
Yeah, where it's going to have that initial boost, and then it might have that kind of
Plateau.
easing. Yeah.
Sobering
Depending on each
minutes.
report
Yeah.
and as it
Yeah.
comes out. And like, you know, we talk about, you can, like we always talk about, you can really guess only 3 months ahead, right? Before you can just get one report, everything changes.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, that's why I don't think it's going to be, I hear, and this is why I'm happy we talked about this today, because we talked about Twitter and TikTok and people just calling doomsday all over the place. And there, you know, I'm hearing things like, if you don't buy between now and March, you're going to look back and think, why ever?
Yeah. Regrets.
It's just so extreme. I don't see it going that way. People's memories aren't that short, and affordability is that much higher. So, or I guess lower.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's why I'm at flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
That's 3 optimistic views though. Like we're not talking about further declines.
no, I definitely don't see decline at all. But I think that's interesting that we all sat in the same conversation. We all look at the same similar datas, and we all have different feelings and outlooks. And it's the one who's right doesn't matter. It's the one who gets more attention that's going to be the popular opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, if one of us said, no, prices are coming down to 1 million, that would have been intellectually stimulating.
And I would have used that as our clip on Instagram to get clicks. But we don't operate like that around here. So, all right, I think we could wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Chris, you've been a wonderful guest. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Just in closing, I just want to say thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And I want to congratulate the two of you guys on doing a great job with this. And it was a lot of fun. And I encourage you to keep it up.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. For anybody who doesn't do media, you know, social media stuff, this is a big commitment. And I know you guys work hard at this. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
We want to win.
Yeah.
Well, high five.
Yeah.
The two Daniels. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
All right. Thanks for listening to the Toronto Livings Real Estate Podcast. You could find more information on how we work over at torontolivings.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter to get price reports from over 150 different neighborhoods in the city each and every month.
If you got any value, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening.